Howdy folks, I'm libelous Eurasian Lynx, loudly lying about lethargic llamas.
I'm Amber.
You're more lethargic llamas for us to lie about because we don't need to, well, I don't know why, because we don't need to ruin their reputation any further. They've already done a good enough job on their own. But let's get started, because who wants a lethargic llama? No one. No one wants a lethargic llama. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk? I'm a 20-year-old, and my roommate, an 18-year-old, wants me to replace her chair, but she also wants to keep the old one. I don't know what to do. I'm really anxious and upset about this. A few months ago, my kitten poked some holes in my roommate's gaming chair. It's a $300 chair, and she told me about it, and I took some pictures of the damage. The holes aren't that deep, but there are little bits of leather peeling. I told her that I could get something to fix it, but eventually I told her that I would pay to get it fixed because I didn't trust my skills. Today she sent me a long paragraph about how my kitten was chewing on her decorative flowers, chewing her cables and her headphones to the point where they didn't work, and that her chair is still ruined and she wants reimbursement for it. Well, I showed my parents and they agreed to pay 100% for a new chair if she gave us the ruined chair. This chair isn't really ruined, it just has a few holes that I could probably crudely fix with glue. We assumed that she was going to be scrapping the chair because of how she presented it. My cat, messed it up, but I didn't want it to go to waste. I also could sell the chair for some of the money back. She said that she wants to keep the ruined chair. When my mom saw that she said this, she flipped out. I understand why. My mom said that it's basically giving her a gift, not a reimbursement. My roommate said that she wants to keep the chair so that she can have one chair in her room at the apartment and one in her room at her parents' house so that she doesn't have to bring it back and forth. The way she worded it really irked me. My parents 100% agreed that if she doesn't give us her ruined chair, we are not paying anything for a new one for her. This really made her mad. When I got home, she was crying about how her stuff is ruined and how the cat got onto her cables and broke her headphones. I told her that she should keep her door closed from now on, like our other roommates do. That there's no way that he'll be able to get in and that he'll get used to not being in the room like he did with our other roommates. She kept the door open and lo and behold, walked right into our room. And then she cried more about him being in there. I'm going to keep my cat in my room from now on, only letting him out when I'm home to supervise, as he has plenty of toys, wall shelves to climb on, and things to do in my room. Everything is in here, so it'll just be a bit of an adjustment for him. She has been texting me for the entire rest of the night, talking about how her stuff is ruined, and she just says things like, what do I do? What do I do? And I don't know what to do. I'm starting to think that she's trying to guilt me into giving her the money. What could possibly have given you that idea? Am I overreacting to this? Should I give her the money? I don't even know what to do. Edit, I should probably add that my roommate will actively seek out my cat while he's in my room to bring him into her room. And that's where the problem lies. I try to keep him separated from her precious materials, but I'm not always there to supervise. My cat is not destructive, as most people are saying. He's never really ripped apart anything. Her chair is the thing that she's upset about, but the only other thing that my cat has gotten into is her headphone cable. But my cat doesn't go around chewing and scratching things. He doesn't scratch her chair either. It was holes poked in from him walking on it and putting his claws out a bit. Neither me nor my roommate have had any problems. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It's clear that she's just trying to use OP for free stuff.
Yeah.
If the chair is usable enough, like she's like, oh, I want one here and one at my parents' house. If the chair is usable enough to use, it doesn't need to be replaced.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what it boils down to at the end of the day. If they can use the chair, then it doesn't need to be replaced. And OP could repair the chair and sell it, like they mentioned, or they could use it for their own purposes. But the fact is that she can't have her cake and eat it too.
Right. And the fact that she's actively bringing the cat into her room on top of it, like at some point in time, it becomes your own responsibility. I could understand the upset if the cat was getting in without her knowledge, but if she's actively bringing the cat in and then being like, oh, the cat walked on my chair and left little claw marks, it's like you kind of brought it on yourself at that point.
Well, I mean, I think that's the key point here, right? There is no financial responsibility OP owes to this roommate at all, because she invites the cat in and the cat, she likes the cat and the cat's company. So this is a sacrifice that you make when you are a pet owner or you allow pets into your living space is that they will sometimes ruin things, and that is up to you. And again, like if she's going into OP's room to take the cat out and bring into her own bedroom, then this isn't OP's problem. Like she
Right.
just needs to do a better job at supervising the cat. If the cat chewed on the cables, then she wasn't supervising OP's pet enough, and OP might even consider saying, if the cat ends up getting sick or something from chewing on stuff, being able to hold her financially responsible for not paying more attention to the cat and what it was chewing on.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I'm more concerned about the cat chewing on the headphones and getting hurt. Ingesting the headphone material or something like that. So I think it's good to keep the cat away from the roommate for the cat's safety, because the roommate is clearly not doing a very good job supervising him. But yeah, I think OP and her parents offered to replace the chair if they get the original chair back was more than generous, and the roommate is just not being a good person right here.
Yeah, they're being very greedy. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my neglectful father's wife that I don't care if her unborn kids is my father's and I don't owe her a thing? My father and his wife have a 25-year-old on and off relationship and marriage. My father had me, a 19-year-old male, with someone else, and his wife had a daughter, a 16-ish now, with someone else. At one time, the four of us lived together for about 4 years. I was neglected badly, and in that time, I was eventually removed by CPS and placed with my aunts. They helped me get back on track after a really terrible time. My mother was addicted to substances and wasn't any better, and the reason that I lived with my father is because she overdosed and passed away. The wife's daughter wasn't really treated much better, but she got a little more, and she wasn't removed like I was. I had nothing to do with them anymore. But then, a few weeks ago, his wife DM'd me on Facebook. My father's in jail, and she claims that she's expecting his baby, and she needs me to help. She wanted me to move in and help with paying the bills, and help with the baby, and make sure that she has support for her delivery. I ignored her and I blocked the account, but then another account, which is clearly also hers, DM'd me and told me that I was going to have a sibling and that I should do something to make sure that the baby was okay. I told her that I didn't believe for 1 second that the baby is his, but even if it is his kid, I don't owe her a thing, and that I wasn't going to reply again. I blocked that account and I didn't respond when more messages came from different accounts. But she's basically telling me that I should care if the baby is his, and that I should be a better man than him. To me, this kid, whether it's his or not, has nothing to do with me, and that I'm not his father, so I feel like I have zero responsibility. But maybe I'm the jerk for feeling that way and saying what I did. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. This is not a child's responsibility. Like, even if this woman was your mother and you had a good relationship with her, this would not be your responsibility.
Yeah.
You are not the one who chose any of this. I understand the situation is rough for her. She wasn't expecting her partner to go to jail, but that doesn't mean that you are now like rushed in as like a substitute parent.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like some, it's always nice when siblings can come in and, care for other siblings and be a parental figure for them. But that comes at a great cost, right? And I mean, certainly kids shouldn't be parentified. And, I think OP at this point in time is an adult, and they shouldn't have to take on that burden if they don't want to, right? And they're not going to be a very good parent if they aren't interested in this kind of responsibility, right? And so I think that OP is perfectly justified in declining this because this isn't their responsibility.
Yeah, well, I mean, this woman has never been it wouldn't be, again, OP's responsibility, period, like even if they had a good relationship. But this woman neglected him.
Mm-hmm.
She's a step below a random stranger in that she actively caused harm to OP, and so, like, if you wouldn't feel obligated to care for a random stranger, why would you feel obligated to do all of this for someone who neglected you?
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 30-year-old male and my girlfriend, a 28-year-old female, just called me cringy and weak for having a moment and I don't know how to react to it. And Amber wants to read this one.
So a bit of backstory. I'm a 30-year-old male, and I was lucky enough to have a beautiful childhood with a very loving family. When I was a kid, I played Pokemon Diamond on my Nintendo DS a lot, and I remember very specifically going to this area of the game called Eterna Forest because I loved its music. It's a beautiful piano melody that I would listen to for hours, which actually motivated me to learn to play the piano. Cue to today, I have a girlfriend, 28-year-old female, and we've lived together for 2 years. We have a great relationship. We were in the living room. I was playing video games while she was sitting next to me browsing Instagram. I was playing Pokemon Legends Arceus on my Switch, which is a prequel to Pokemon Diamond, the game I played when I was a kid on my DS. All of a sudden, as I progress through the game, I get to a forest area and a beautiful arrangement of the Eterna Forest song I loved as a kid comes on. I wasn't expecting it and stopped on my tracks to listen to the song. In a mix of shock and nostalgia, I started tearing up. It reminded me of those happy times when I was a kid and brought back many memories from my happy childhood. I stopped moving in the game and kept silent while I heard the music, while a few tears rolled down, fully living in the moment. My girlfriend noticed and asked me if I was okay. I dried off my tears and I started happily explaining what had happened and gave her the whole backstory. When I finished explaining, she asked, "So you're telling me you cried over a video game?" I told her it wasn't a video game, but what it represented and the good memories it gave me. Then she said, "I can't believe you right now. Crying over a video game is cringy AF." And she stood up and left for our bedroom. I followed her and asked her what was wrong, and she said she was disappointed that I cried over something like that and that she wasn't expecting me to be this weak. She said she didn't want to talk about it further and went to bed. I didn't really expect her to react this way. We've been together for 4 years, and so far she's been a great partner, and this is very uncharacteristic of her. She has, however, stated several times that she hates video games and that she doesn't like me playing them, but I stood my grounds long ago and told her I'm not leaving my favorite hobby just because she doesn't like it, which she has slowly come to accept. I have found a balance to play in my free time that doesn't affect our relationship, and until now it has worked just fine. I don't want to overreact and call it quits over something like this, but I am concerned about this way of thinking of hers, and quite honestly, I'm sad that she reacted this way. I was just having a human moment and opened up to her only to be called names by the person I love. We're planning on having kids eventually, and if we do end up having a boy, I do not plan on raising him with toxic masculinity or anything like that. So I'm not sure how to go over the situation. Update. First of all, wow. I wasn't expecting to receive this many replies. Thanks everyone for chipping in and for your encouraging comments. It's awesome how some people have reached out privately in concern. I truly appreciate it. Even the ones who have DM'd me calling me a sissy, cupcake, loser, and other things, I hope you guys find love and peace eventually. Now I'd like to answer a few questions. First, I want to clarify that I do not regret reacting how I did, nor do I feel embarrassment or anything like that, and I won't let absolutely anyone make me change the way I am. I will react to things however I feel like reacting. I dare say I'm an emotionally intelligent person, and I know very well how to compartmentalize my thoughts and feelings and not let them take over me. I hate toxic masculinity and refuse to let such a ridiculous culture dictate how I act. I'm also a strong believer in communication and think it wasn't a deal breaker in our relationship, at least not until we talked about it, also because it's the first and only time anything like this has happened. If it was a repeat case or if she had doubled down, I would have left her a long time ago. Another part that now in retrospect I think I should have added to the original post to add context, and to people asking what her background is, she comes from a family of athletes, herself being one. We're both tennis players and fans. In fact, that's how we met. We share a passion for the sport. She also has a healthy relationship with her family. She's close with her parents and sister, and we see them often. They're all great people. She has been unfamiliar with video games her whole life. I've asked her before why she hates them so much, and she said she thinks they're nerdy, stupid, and a waste of time. I think she's a classic case of hating something you don't understand. Have I reacted like this before? Yes, I have, but not too often. In fact, only one time before today. It was when one of my favorite tennis players won his first big tournament after a really close match 2 years ago. I was so happy I teared up. She's a big fan of this player as well, and we celebrated his victory together. As for her, I honestly don't recall ever seeing her cry over anything in the 4 years we've been together. I talked to my girlfriend after we both calmed down. I began by explaining and telling her how hurt and disappointed I was by her reaction, and told her that she couldn't just talk to me, or anyone for that matter, like that for expressing their feelings, because it's just rude and demeaning and very much unlike her. Then I asked what's going on and why she would call me those things. She proceeded to apologize and explain that it wasn't the crying that upset her. I asked if it also bothered her when I cried that time our favorite tennis player won the tournament, and she said that it didn't. She said that it bothered her that I had such a strong emotion to something she really dislikes, which is a video game, especially with it being a Pokemon game, which is another discussion we had a long time ago where she told me she didn't like that I still played a kid's game, and I told her she would have to deal with it because I'm not changing who I am and what I like for anyone. And it made her very angry, and she just didn't express it properly and made a very poor choice of words and let the anger get the best of her. She said she doesn't think I'm weak at all and said that she loves me and appreciates everything I do. I asked her if she feels like I do not give her enough attention, and she said that's not the case, but she would just love it if I just never played video games at all and dropped it altogether. I told her once again that's unfortunately not going to happen because it's a hobby I enjoy. I also told her that I would never ask her to give up on her hobbies just because I didn't like them, so it was unfair that she did that to me, and I would be more understanding of this request if playing consumed me to a point in which our day-to-day dynamic would be affected, such as me losing my job or if I stopped doing my house chores because of it or anything like that, but that's far from the case. We have a very good roommate dynamic. Our house is always clean. I do errands without being told to. We play tennis together at least 3 times a week, and sometimes after that we hit the gym. We eat out often. Our intimate life is good, etc. We spend a lot of quality time together. It's just a healthy relationship in general, which is why I was so surprised by her reaction. I also invited her several times to join me playing fun stuff like Mario Kart or Takes Two, so we spend more time together with her doing something I like, and the answer is always no. She then said she didn't stop to think how actually meaningful that moment was for me because she got really angry and said she was sorry she was so dismissive and insensitive and promised not to do it ever again. She admitted that she has some work to do on herself and apologized once more and said that she'd try to be more understanding and patient, which I hope she does. I'm not perfect either, but I'm willing to put in the work to work on myself for the good of the relationship, as long as that doesn't mean giving up on something that makes me or her happy. Because I love her. We're planning to play some tennis later today, so hopefully things will continue to simmer down and this episode won't occur again. Obviously, this is an alert for me, but I hope it stays a one-time thing.
All right, folks. Well, what do you think of this?
I don't think OP's in the wrong. I think OP handled the situation very maturely. And I think, he's very clear that he's going to keep doing the things he wants to do, and that's important. I'm really glad that while her reaction in the moment wasn't good, it hasn't stopped him from doing what he loves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that her reaction here was really out of line, especially given that people have been crying about music for centuries. I mean, people are emotionally touched by music, and that's part of the reason why people listen to music. And it doesn't matter if the music is in a video game or not, right? These are professional composers who work in video games and make, these music compositions. So saying that it's a lesser form of art, I think is really short-sighted because, there's a lot of time, energy, and effort that goes into making video games what they are. There's the, artistic graphics, there's the music, there's the stories, and those are the things that people are drawn to. In a lot of ways, while not a perfect analogous medium, books and video games share a lot of similarities, right? Because not all video games, there are some video games that are very much just like shoot 'em ups and stuff like that, where there's not like a huge amount of plot, but in some of the more story driven type of games, there are actual stories and there's actual like things that are related to that. So I would say that I would be careful if I were her to lump all video games with the same broad stroke, because I don't think there is the ability to do that, right? I think like there's a lot of different genres of video games, just as there's a lot of different genres of movies or books and music.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there are some books that are a little lacking in the plot department too.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly. You would think that would be their strong suit, but sometimes not the case. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she allegedly has a joke.
Why was the light fog so cheery?
The light fog?
Yeah.
Like as in a minimal amount of fog. Not like fog that emits light.
Correct, the first one.
Okay, so the light fog was so cheery because it was emitting light. And that was
it's the other kind of
yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. Like, it finally started emitting light, and that's why it was so cheery. It was like, oh my goodness, I've suddenly become something that I wasn't. And so it gained sentience. And so then it knew what it was doing. And then it started taking over the world very slowly, because that's what fog does when it gains sentience and light.
Because it was an optimist.
An optimist. I mean, I think it works. I think it works.
And today is Optimist Day.
Oh, just remember, go find yourself an optimist and make their day bad.
No.
That way, they're not an optimist anymore. You want to see that your glass is half full? Well, not anymore. It's empty. That's what we do to optimists around here. And I have Mega Mint.
And I have a book coming out.
Yes, Amber does have a book coming out.
My debut novel is going to be coming out July 1st of this year. So mark your calendars if you like stories with creeping dead, not dead. If you like stories with creeping dread and like isolation, the isolation trope, and religious cults, all that good stuff. So
Yes, there is no creeping dead in this
there is
story.
no creeping dead.
So,
I do have other stories with that, but not this one.
All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior, folks.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on personal responsibility.
If you bring a cat into your room, don't be surprised if it gets claw marks on things.
Cats do what they do. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.